Okay. Um, I am I had a pretty busy weekend and didn't and end of week last week, so I didn't do any sort of recap. But I wanted to touch on a couple things. So, looking at my tracking for currently 45 trades. Um, just about halfway to my goal of 100. So I'm at a win rate of 25%. This is not enough to maintain. And while I suppose it's possible to continue on to trading the same exact way to, to the 100 trades, I don't think it wise to spend the time. And while it's a small amount of money, it's still money, um, to continue trading this way. So what I've been doing over the last few days is just looking for a new way to go forward for the last 55 trades. Um, so what I did is I did a back test to give myself a more specific set of rules, to govern trading going forward. It does use an indicator, which I'm tried to avoid, but in the a framework of wanting to I want to make a simple system that works without putting a whole bunch of forethought into overall market direction and even looking at higher time frames. I would want to create something that works that I can teach my kids as soon as they're old enough to care about wanting to trade. Um, so, and I also don't want to, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time when I'm paying attention and learning. But 50 trades is enough for me at this point to say, hey, wait a second, this is not quite right. And I may t dial it in a little bit and get up to 35 or even 40 and maybe get close to break even, but I don't really want to be at break even. I want to be at profit long run. So here's the system that I put together, that I will begin testing on. You can see all my trade data. I'm going to copy this and start a fresh one. Maybe I'll go for another 100, or maybe I'll just go for 50 this time, but um, it would be cool to have them separated so that I don't have skewed data of old trading, new trading. I could put a line, but I think it's just easier to just make a new one. So I'll call this one first 45, and I will duplicate it. So this will be tracking using alligator. So that's going to be what I'm going to use. I'm going to start fresh by clearing out all my trades. Should get rid of just about everything. Oops. Let's see, starting balance, I'll have to change. Everything else looks okay. Okay, so that will give me some fresh stats as I go through and work on this. So balance, just a second. I'll go over the strategy that I've decided upon. Okay, here we go. Big fat starting balance of $72.05. So I gotta copy this one too. This is weekly data. So that was 3 weeks of is it 3? 526. 6. No. So this would have been 6.2. There it goes. So I'll duplicate this one to, actually, no, I'll leave that one for now. This just shows overall weekly data based on the other one. So, all right, so there's that. Um, all right, back testing data. Okay, so I tested this over 100 trades using 3 exit opportunities. I have this set up to where if it hits 3R exit, it has a 1, if it's or a 0 if it doesn't, and then 2R and 1R. So if they're all zeros, then we have a stop out of a -1, and you can see it all just calculates here. And then in this column, it will calculate based on risk to reward ratio chosen. So this is a 1 to 1 to 1, this is 2 to 1, 3 to 1. So over these 100 trades, as I put in the data from testing, 62% win rate on that with a profit of $66 if the account started at 250. But this is what I'm looking at mainly more than the dollars itself. So 62% is great on a 1 to 1, that works fine. But you can see even a lower win rate on 2 to 1 gives you a higher profit, and even further so on the 3 to 1. So 3 to 1 is what I'm going to go for, which is bigger than I've ever chosen before for targets consistently. So we'll see how that goes. It will require a little bit of patience. But most of the trades are pretty quick, is what it looks like on the back testing. So it does have a potential, at least in these 100, for 8 losses in a row, which feels like a lot, but 8 in a row would equal for my risk would be a 4% loss on account, which would be just 3 more wins. I think three more wins to recover that or to wipe that out. So 8 losses versus 3 wins is just something I can deal with. So 38% win rate gives you the highest profit out of these. So I like that. Strategy is using alligator indicator, slightly modified for a little bit slower run. Same shift as what's default. Using smoothed, so you can see I think I just did ×2 what the default values are here. So they must be stacked in a direction, meaning in the right order. I'll show you on the chart in a minute. They must all be sloping up. So what I'm using for the slope up is that the lips, which is the fastest, we'll just use a long example, has been above the teeth, which has been above the jaws for a minimum of 15 bars. So no crosses for at least 15 bars. That kind of helps me get a filter in there for when it's too choppy. The setup happens when it pulls back into lower than any 3 of these, as long as it doesn't close below the jaws, which is the slowest one. If it closes there, then it resets and I need to wait for another 15 bars. So if it pulls back past in a tail or of some sort, or a wick below any of these 3, but then make sure it closes above the jaws. And then the next bar is a color change engulfing. So as it comes down, it wicks down in some fashion. Even actually, the engulfing bar can be the wick, or the wick and the engulfing at the same time if it wants. But it needs to be kind of a fractal pivot type thing. Maybe not fractal, but it has to be a lowest of a little bit of a pullback. Stop is at 10%. I'll show you that in a minute. Of the entry bar size. And then, like I said, about entry is 3 to 1 RR. So here we go. I'll just go to a couple random spots. Indicator, you can see, is set up that way. I got some colors that aren't obnoxious. So you can see, like for instance, right here, I would have to wait until there is 15 bars. So this is the first location right here that I would be able to take a trade. And there is an engulfing here, but you notice it doesn't touch up above here, so I'm not going to take that one. So I'm just going to scroll through to find the first trade that I see, and talk about some of the other parts of it that I'm going to go for here. So lots of choppy, 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 choppy. So you can see maybe in here somewhere. This one, this would potentially work here as an entry, but you can see there's crisscrosses, so we're gonna wait on that one. Um, Looking for a color change engulfing anywhere in this uprise here. So here's one. I have entry happens right at the end of the engulfing bar, close to the, and then I pull this out to find my stop. And in which case you can see this one would be a loser as it wicks down right there. So that one would be a loser. We'll look for another one just to show another example. So here's another loser right here. Nice trend change here. Pulls back past here, doesn't close below the slow, engulfs. And this one actually might get, when I was testing out to 1, 2, and 3. So you can see that one gets to 1. So maybe at some point I'll retest and look at break even possibilities or something like that. But still a loser for the 3R, which is fine because I think long term it's going to be good. Here's another loser right here. This big red bar is an engulfing bar after getting pulled back into there. Loser though. I'm just really making this sound pretty good, showing you all the losers in a row. Here's one we could take. That's not quite right. And, oh yeah, no, yeah, that would have been there. So that's a loser as well. Here's one that would be an entry. Gets to 1.5, stops out. I have to reset. Here's another one. No, it's not. This one is though. So that one is a winner. Just barely. You can see it almost wants to stop out there, but then slams down with some news of some sort probably. So anyways, that's the idea. Here's another one. It's pretty easy to spot, which is what I want. I want it to be simple, quick, ready to go. There's another winner for 3R. So right there, 2 of those in a row, and those wipes out the 6 losses or whatever that was I showed you. So there's another entry there. And within my plan, as long as the thing happens again, I can do it more than once. So this one, actually this one would already be exited, but let's just say the target was a little lower. This would be another entry, and I could just do a whole new trade on that. So the amount of trades happening at once doesn't matter unless it was like here and then like right here. I'd probably wait until it was at least further into profit, but no restrictions on that. Here's another entry. Ooh, that one. Let's see what that one would do. So you go pull it from the end of the engulfing bar to the top of the tail, and you can see it just barely stays in. Probably depends on spread on that one. Could get stopped out, but could also hit target. So you can see it's really designed to catch trend, which I've always been kind of scared about doing because I always think the reversal is coming, and so I always look for the reversal. So I'm gonna try this kind of thinking differently than I normally would. So that's my plan going forward. So I will start a new playlist just to keep things separate because I want to be able to look back at this and be like, okay, I made a decision here, and this is really where a change happened, or I made a decision here and it still wasn't working out like I thought. So we shall see how it goes. Looking forward to getting back into trading. I've been busy with baseball. It's been super fun. My son's team is in a tournament. It's his first year playing, and he's doing super awesome. They have 2 more games. They're the top 2 right now. So one more game tonight, and then if they win, one more tomorrow, which I look forward to. So we'll start seeing these come in. I'll probably make a shorter, more succinct version of this video to lock it in as I get more familiar with it. But this was just a quick idea, and it seems after 100 trades that it's likely worth it. And I'll be running this live on EU and UJ. So that's the end of this one. Um, like I said, I'm looking forward to more journals and more trading. I like trading. I just want to get better at it so I can have something to show for it that doesn't just live in my head and my knowledge, but actually looks like a contribution to our monthly budget. So there we go. I'll be back as soon as I start taking these trades.